These are this afternoon's top stories. Government settles with former Director of Public Prosecutions. Havensa owners begin bankruptcy proceedings, and Kenya closes all public schools amid teachers' strike. Good afternoon. Welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, 22nd September 2015. I am Nisha David. In national news on Monday, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis reached a settlement in the case against former Director of Public Prosecutions, the DPP, Traverse Sinanan. In putting the case into context, Attorney General Honorable Vincent Byron told the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service that, quote, the case involved a challenge brought by Traverse Sinanan that although his contract with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis came to an end on July 14, 2015, he claimed that he had a right to continue in office because he had a security of 10 years under the Constitution and had asked for a number of declarations along that line, end quote. The Attorney General reportedly told SKNIS that as far as the government was concerned, Sinanan was no longer the DPP effective July 15th, as he was employed in July 2013 when he had already reached the age of 55 and is now 57 years old. He is quoted as saying, the Constitution states at Section 81 that there is a prescribed age for someone to be a DPP, and that is 55 years. ZIZ News understands that in the interim, a candidate has been proposed to the Judicial and Legal Services Commission based in St. Lucia to be an acting DPP. That individual will be recommended to the Governor General for appointment. Mexico's President Enrique Pena Nieto has joined the list of dignitaries who have offered words of congratulations to St. Kitts and Nevis in commemoration of Independence 32. In a letter addressed to Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, President Nieto said his country wants to continue the strong bilateral relations with the Federation. He said, quote, in wishing for the prosperity of the noble people of St. Kitts and Nevis, I wish to reiterate the assurances of my highest consideration. End quote. Enrique Pena Nieto is the 57th President of Mexico. His 6-year term began in 2012, a member of the Institutional Revolutionary Party. He served as governor of the state of Mexico from 2005 to 2011. The St. Kitts and Nevis Social Security Board continues to recognize outstanding students in the Federation with the Susanna Lee Scholarship Award. 9 primary school graduates, now high school students, and 7 high school graduates, now 6th form students, were the recipients of this year's scholarships. At an intimate ceremony on Monday, Chairperson of the Social Security Board, Merit Sabori, acknowledged that the investment in young people is essential to carrying out the Social Security Board's vision.
The vision of Social Security is to become the most sustainable and secure financial institution in the Federation. We believe that the investment in human capital is critical to our development. It is our narrative to build a better community, so we invest in students so that they are equipped with the tools necessary to become the true architects of their lives. The success stories of our scholarship students can be seen throughout the Federation.
The primary school graduate awardees are Zanik Williams, Sabrina Narain, Shania Fleming, Jasimba Mecham, Renzani Thomas, Shama Bori, Venquisha Garnett, Jaquan Clark, and Charlene Myers. The awardees who graduated high school are Felicity Woodley, Leandra Brown, Kishma Dunrod, Kijona Huggins, Kishmoy Hutchinson, Jamal Davis, and Serena Alcendor. This year, the Social Security Board decided to grant one-time financial assistance to 2 students, Steve Walters and Razik Charles. To date, approximately $1.5 million has been invested in the Social Security Board scholarship program. Regionally in the Virgin Islands, the owners and attorneys of fallen oil refinery Havensa appeared in federal court yesterday to begin Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings. The company came to an agreement with Lime Tree Bay Holdings to buy the terminal assets of the refinery.
Venza's owners and attorneys appeared in federal court that same day to begin Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings. The company reached an agreement with Limetree Bay Holdings to buy the terminal assets of the refinery. And officials said in order to complete an orderly sales process, the bankruptcy is necessary. The sale would be court supervised, along with a Chapter 11 plan that would spell out how liabilities will be settled and what will happen to Havenza's remaining assets. Federal Judge Mary Walrath approved a $40 million loan to Havenza from its owners, Hess Oil and PDVSA, in the interim. The money would help pay critical obligations.
Trinidad and Tobago's nominee for the post of Commonwealth Secretary General has formally withdrawn his candidacy. Dr. Bendradat Tuari made this known by writing last week to the Secretary General of the CARICOM Secretariat rather than the Commonwealth Secretariat. In fact, the CARICOM Secretariat itself has no locus standi in the matter, since its membership is made up of countries of which only some are also members of the Commonwealth. He wrote, quote, "This letter is to withdraw my name from consideration for the support of CARICOM heads for the post of Secretary General of the Commonwealth. I shall be grateful if you would inform CARICOM heads of the same." End quote. Tuari's withdrawal was not unexpected and had been reported by regional media some months ago, although when asked by Caribbean News Now to confirm or deny such reports in July, he declined to comment, while at the same time seeming at best ambivalent about his continued nomination. Internationally, the toddler whose body was found in a plastic bag on a beach in the United States was murdered by her mother's boyfriend because she was possessed by demons, a court has heard. Rachel Bond, Bella's mother, has a $1 million bail, and her boyfriend, Michael McCarthy, is held without bail in relation to the death of Bond's daughter, Bella. CNN's Jean Casares reports.
Rachel Bond, the mother of Bella Bond, and her boyfriend Michael McCarthy listened from behind glass as the prosecutor described in graphic detail what they believed happened during the final moments of Bella's short life.
Bella was unwilling to go to bed and was unruly. Mr. McCarthy said that he would go into her back bedroom and try to calm her down. She found Mr. McCarthy standing over Bella, and when Ms. Bond looked at Bella, her head appeared to her to be swollen and her face was gray. Bond told police she knew then her daughter was dead. But it was McCarthy, she said, who put the body in a trash bag and stored it in the refrigerator, trying to justify the toddler's death. He said she was a demon anyway, it was her time to die. Prosecutors said in court a longtime friend of McCarthy, who had stayed with the couple while Bella was alive, witnessed appalling treatment, yelling and being locked into a room for up to an hour because the couple believed she was possessed. Later, the couple allegedly went to Boston Harbor, where McCarthy put weights in the bag and deposited the child in the water. Bond now facing the charge of accessory after the fact, and McCarthy facing murder. Both pleaded not guilty. Bella was born in 2012, and that same year, the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families opened up an investigation into the neglect of Bella, telling CNN DCF determined neglect was involved. Services were provided, and we eventually closed the case. The following year, 2013, another DCF investigation into the neglect of Bella. It too was closed. In April of 2014, but in unrelated matters, the head of Massachusetts DCF resigned a year after stepping into the position and after 3 children died.
My confidence in that whole organization has been rattled.
About 1 year later, Bella was dead. Attorneys for her mother and boyfriend telling different stories after court.
He is shocked and saddened by the death of Bella Bond, but he did not kill her.
She wants to see Mr. McCarthy pay for what he did.
14 million public school children in Kenya are out of school because of a 3-week-old teachers' strike. An Al Jazeera correspondent in Kenya has that story.
This shelter is small and stuffy, But with schools closed, it's one of the few places where poor children from the largest slum in Kenya, Kibera, can go. The shelter was started by a non-profit organization years ago to help a handful of children with their after-school tuition. Since the strike started 3 weeks ago, hundreds have been turning up, not only to study, but also to have a hot mug of porridge. Many don't have enough food at home.
Can you convince me that our country is bankrupt, that cannot pay their teachers?
So who do you blame?
We have to blame government.
All schools under the Kenya education curriculum have been closed indefinitely, and there seems to be no solution in sight.
There's so much mistrust between the teachers and their employer. The government says that paying them more is just not sustainable and it will hurt the economy. The teachers, on the other hand, insist that the government is not being sincere. And all the while, it's millions of children in schools like this one who continue to lose out.
If the award were paid to teachers, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission would have no choice and would be forced to harmonize wages across the entire public sector. And based on last year's tax revenue, our wage bill would therefore rise from 52% to 61% of all revenues collected.
Teachers continue to protest, and they have the support of many Kenyans. Analysts say that politics and emotions have overshadowed the economics surrounding the strike.
I think what the national government has never done, or rather governments in Kenya have never done, is to let Kenyans understand. We are very proud people, we are very hardworking people, but that notwithstanding, we are a poor country. And so government must split all the public money across very many needs.
Now it's up to the courts to decide if these kids will go back to school anytime soon. A court of appeal is to review the pay rise awarded. An industrial court is to rule on the legality of the strike. 280,000 teachers say they listen to the courts, but until then, they say they won't back down. Catherine Soy, Al Jazeera, Nairobi, Kenya.
Taking a look at the weather, winds today are east to southeast at 5 to 9 miles per hour, becoming light and variable in most places overnight. Seas are slight with heights not exceeding 1.2 meters or 4 feet. In the weather summary, a large mid to upper level low pressure system will move over the Leeward and British Virgin Islands. However, the lack of significant low level moisture and low level trigger will restrict rainfall activity. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a chance of brief overnight showers. Tomorrow we can expect partly cloudy skies in general. The temperature high for today is 28 degrees Celsius or 82 degrees Fahrenheit. The sunset for today is expected at 6:07 p.m. and the sunrise for tomorrow will be at 6 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. To join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for joining us. I am Nisha David.